Hi, I'm Ben Larson. I'm demoing the project for Team 6. I'm just going to show you how to set this up. Here is the file structure for our project. We use MAMP to launch our web application, but you can easily use a web server that uses Apache, MySQL, and PHP. And you just point the web server to the base of the source code directory for the application. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use MySQL Workbench. I'm just going to create a new schema here. We'll just call it MyTunes. And then we have our SQL script here. We'll select all this to populate the table. There's also some queries at the bottom, but that doesn't matter too much. So this is how we're going to populate our data. You can easily put this same script into the phpMyAdmin on MAMP or into the MySQL command line. Did I execute this? Oh, sorry, I got to make sure that I set this as the default schema. Let's try running again. Here we go. And you see once we refresh, all of our tables are in place. So our product is a music application that stores a user's music files and information. So here we have the album, the band, the has track relation with track and album. Sorry, member of relation between musician and band. The producer with the producer's relation between track and producer. Band relation with releases, or the relation releases, which ties a track to a band. And so now, if you want to use MAMP like we did, you have your MAMP folder here, and you simply place all of our files that you can get off the GitHub into this htdocs. So here's all the files for our web application, and then you pull up MAMP, you hit open start page. Oh, I should clarify real quick that in order to get it to connect to your database really quickly, you need to go to PHP, dbconnect, edit the file, and change all this information. So right now I just need to change this to MyTunes, and it should work just fine. So we're going to go over to our web application now to do some testing. Click My Website. Here's our website. You have the tracks, the albums, the musicians, the bands, the producers. So when we click Tracks, hey, you see all of our tracks here. So this will only show tracks that are associated with an album. There are other tracks in the database, but they are not associated with the album, so they do not appear on here. I'll quickly just go and show you. Here's the albums, musicians, bands, and producers. So if we go into, let's add a track, and we'll call it test track. It's 350 seconds long. We successfully added the record, but we don't see it here. So that's because we can only see it when we try to add an album. See, there's our song test track, because it does not have an album yet. So we call this new album. Test rock, why not? Price of $1. Select a release date. And here we only have one band to choose from. We'll just do the Beatles. And one producer is George Martin. As you see, we can add in more bands and producers to select from and hit add. All this was successfully added. And here we see new album by the Beatles, genre test rock. So if we go over to musicians, let's name this guy Bobby Test with btest@gmail.com, and just give him a random digits for a phone number. So we have a new musician. We go to band. We can add a new band. There's Test Rock again. And you see we can add band members. So you just select multiple members. Let's get Bobby Test in there. And now we have the testers, which will be referenced to all those band members that we just added. Again, we can add a producer. You get the idea. We also have an alternate website that we use for our deleting. This was what we made before we had the pretty UI. So here we have all the add functionality. We have edit, so you can edit Paul McCartney, edit the album out Abbey Road, edit testers. You can't edit the relationships, but you can edit the entities themselves. Here we can delete entities, but we can't delete things that are associated to having a relation right now. So if I try to delete this, I'm going to get this SQL error with the foreign key constraints. So we will add a track, test track 2, length of 120 seconds, why not? Then let's go down to here and you'll see test track 2 and we can delete it, no problem. If you wanted to find a query, here's get all albums from the database, to get all bands, all tracks, even tracks that aren't associated with anything. So we'll just add some more tracks. And when we do track, you'll see that there's blatant test track. Even though it's not associated to an album, it'll still show up. So that's our project for 322. We hope you enjoy it. Thank you for your time.